Ready to eat. I like it rough. Don't touch my hot bubbles. Show me what you got. We are rip-roaring and ready to go. Welcome to Hot Pot Potty Podcast. I'm Jen Tatro, and this is Brooke Holman, your host. Welcome. We are busting out a heavy hitter today, folks. We have a Colorado celebrity.
Was that a comment about my weight?
She grew up in Boulder, Colorado, where she went to CU Boulder, where she was on air and was a music director at KUCB. She later moved out to the East Coast and worked at 99.1 WHFS, 98 Rock out in Baltimore, 104.3 The Shark in Miami, 93X in Fort Myers, 100.7 The Bay in Baltimore. She's not done yet, folks. Then she came back to Colorado and became the morning radio host for Indy 102.3 and the host for the Punk Yard Show on Saturday nights. She is none other than Colorado royalty. Please welcome to the show, Dana Meyers.
No royalty, because then I have to be responsible and upstanding. I always said I don't want to be the queen of anything. I'd rather be like the princess who has no aspiration to the throne and just goes out every night, and the tabloid has a full page devoted to everything that she did the night before. Yeah, that's me.
Got the princess here.
I'm just going to say, settle down. Settle your face, okay? We would have rolled out the red carpet if we had one, but we do not have one. So we're excited to have Dana Meyers on the show today. And one of my first questions is this life everything you thought it could be, working for 102.3?
Life has never been... Expectations are useless to me. Okay. My entire life, whether it's been my career, my life itself, this part of my life, anything, nothing's ever turned out like I thought or could have predicted. I gave up a long time ago predicting what would happen, predicting what life would be, predicting what my trajectory would be. It's like, especially in this day and age, the way things are going, I just roll. I do the best I can and be the best person I can be in whatever circumstance comes along. I'm just ready for whatever I can be.
It's like that old saying, we make plans and God laughs.
I don't know if I've heard that, but I agree. Like, I don't know, if you don't have expectations, you can't be let down. You know what I mean? Just enjoy the ride.
Agreed. Very much agree. Something that, Brooke and I have had the pleasure of doing with you is brunches, and we really love our brunches with Dana. Really feel blessed for being able to do that and having you in our lives and having you as a friend. So just want to give you a little hug. But if you could have brunch and a Bloody Mary with a female musician of the past or present, who would that be?
My hero is Laura Jane Grace of Against Me, who I finally got to meet a few months ago. But, my answer might be her or it might be Joan Jett.
Oh, yes.
They're just iconic women that embody the kind of confidence and the kind of just, they keep going. They've kind of been indestructible. They've had all sorts of things thrown at them, and they're still doing what they do. So,
yeah. And Joan Jett was recently playing out again, right?
Oh, she's never stopped. Yeah, she was.
Okay.
I saw her opening for Alanis Morissette at Ball Arena. What was it, last year?
Yes. That's wild. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Give it up, Joan Jett.
Wait, well, how was it meeting her 2 months ago? You said you met your hero. Like, what was that? What did that feel like?
It was at the Black Sheep early last year, and I was a stuttering idiot. And she was supposed to do the co-host the punk show with me that weekend while she was in town, but I wasn't. I was under the weather, and I came out from under that just in time to see her last show in the area. So I still have the picture of myself with her and her then wife
Okay.
And yeah, I nearly melted when she peeked through the curtain during the intermission, and I could see her mouth to me like, "Are you having a good time?" Like, oh my God, you're acknowledging that I exist.
Yes.
Having a terrible time.
And I squealed when she followed me on Instagram. So yeah,
That's incredible.
yeah, she's the reason I came out. Like she's the impetus of that.
Oh, okay. Give it up.
Let's reenact the squeal.
I don't know.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
It's gonna sound like an abused animal if I try to do it.
We'll just edit that in there.
Can we settle for a rat noise?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot I can't hear this without the headphones.
Well, tell me about. It's called the Punk Yard, right?
The punk show that I do on Saturday nights, yeah.
Tell me about the Punk Yard on Indie 102.3 on Saturday nights.
This was something I'm kind of surprised I get to do. When I had the very first conversation about possibly joining Indie, in the get to know each other better conversation with my future boss, who I already knew anyway, I said something about how, like, you know, punk is my favorite genre, and he said, "Would you ever want to do a punk show?" And I laughed instead of like, "Sure," and then it became a running joke for a while until one day, like a year into me being there, he said, like, "So when would you be ready to start this?" And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like for reals?" So I joke every show that like it's kind of like improbable. The boss is letting me do this, and maybe they won't next week. But so I just get to play punk for an hour. It's one of our most popular shows. It's just punk of all sorts, new and old, everything from hardcore to emo to ska to pop punk.
Yes.
Local punk bands from Colorado, punk bands people have never heard of, people's favorite punk bands. I just squeeze as many songs as I can into 1 hour, and because most of them are short, I can usually fit about 19 or 20. So
There we go. That's awesome. I love that.
Basically, that came to be because you said that was your favorite music, and I don't know. I think that's really awesome that you just kind of put out there, what you really enjoy and what you want to do, and then having that opportunity.
And I have full autonomy over it. So I've had guest musicians take over the show and do whatever they want with it. It doesn't matter what they want to play, what genre, or anything. So I've had Marky Ramone of the Ramones take over the show. I've had Amy Taylor of Animal and the Sniffers. I've had Greg Deal of Dead Pioneers. Laura Jane Grace wants to. And I'm going to start having local bands take over the show in pairs. So I've got a couple of lead singers of a couple of really prominent local bands that are about to do the first one of those. I won't say who it is yet because
we're not leaking out the goods.
Well, no, it's not that. I just don't want to jinx it. But I have full autonomy over the show. Last night's show, considering what's been going on, it being we just had January 2026, where there was a lot of a lot that happened in Minneapolis, let's just say.
Yes.
And a lot of artists just came out with songs about that. So I played a brand new NoFX song that they just put out for this week. I played a new Billy Bragg song, and I just filled the rest of the hour with anti-fascist, anti-authoritarian,
Amen.
anti-authority, anti-government songs. And
as you should.
and then ended it with Crass doing a 7-minute, I'm having a brain fart. Anarchist, their usual anarchist views. So I get to do whatever I want with the show.
I love that.
I've played the 18-minute The Decline by NoFX just because I wanted to.
Nice.
Took up third of the show. I could go to the bathroom and fall asleep. So yeah, it's a fun show to do, and it brings some people into the station that might otherwise have not realized that we can go all sorts of directions with the station.
I love that. I love that you're doing that. Congratulations on that. One thing that I've noticed about you is you're constantly going out and supporting local bands and artists. And who have you gone out and seen that's a local band? It can be recently or it can be in your past where you've just been blown away by them.
The first band I saw when I moved back to Colorado 3 years ago for this job, the first band that I saw that I just stumbled upon, nobody had suggested it to me, was Team Non-Existent.
Team Non-Existent.
I saw them at a Seventh Circle Music Collective, and I had no idea what I was in for. And it's an all queer band, and the lead singer is wearing knee pads on purpose because she's going to be throwing herself to the ground and all over the place. She's going to be darting to the back. She's going to disappear into the crowd and appear somewhere else for the next song. They're fantastic. Dead Pioneers just had them open for them at their big show at the Gothic earlier this month.
Nice.
I think they have a lot of great things ahead for them. So that's one band that really blew me away from the beginning. There are other and it just goes all over the place. The Fricashinas are a band that they're just a really, really fun punk band. I remember watching them at Bar 404, and this older guy turned to me and said, "Where are these guys from?" And I said, "They're from here." And he said, "Wait, what?" Like he had trouble believing that they weren't an established band that had been discovered and everything. And there's a band, very well established locally or lately called Capture This. They're essentially what Paramore used to be.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and
Capture This. Note to self.
I'm waiting for the moment that they announced that a big record label picked them up, because they're
They're doing big things.
that's just easy for that's just easy for even your mainstream listener to fall in love with. So
Okay.
there are a lot of great bands here. I think all Denver is missing to be like the next big music city, like Seattle, Austin, Nashville. It just doesn't have the infrastructure. It just doesn't have a lot of artists, from what I've been told, feel like once you get to a certain point, you have to leave town to get any bigger, because there isn't a whole lot of A&R, label support, management. And if somebody with deep pockets or a love for music wanted to start setting that up, I think we could very easily and very quickly be the next big music city. And that's what I'm excited about.
For those of you out there with deep pockets, keep in touch.
Also,
Let's go.
I could use a sugar daddy or sugar mommy. So it could
Me
serve,
too. All
those
it could
sugar
serve
daddy
several
mamas
purposes.
out there.
And I happen to be of everyone at Indie 102.3. I'm the one unmarried, childless lady on the staff. So I have all the time in the world to go out and do things. So I spend that time seeing bands and listening to music and getting to know the people at my favorite venues, because do what you love.
I know. I love
dive
that
into
about
what you love.
I love that about you. You're very supportive in that, and
And I love that I can do that, and I'm not our local music director. I am just supporting it purely out of, I'm obviously checking out punk bands for the punk show as well, but I'm just doing it out of my love for the scene, for my love of these bands.
yes.
I'm doing it I'm not even doing it for work. I'm just doing it, like, if I were working at McDonald's, I would still be doing this.
Nice.
So I'm sidetracking a little bit, but you have several years of experience in radio, and a few years,
Just a few.
just all over the United States, several different cities all over. Can you tell us your story?
My story?
Your story, yeah. I want to hear it.
Once upon a time, my dad's sperm and my mom's oh wait,
yeah.
We can
I don't
start
know how much
there.
time you have,
The very
or how
beginning.
boring you want this to be. No,
In a land far, far away.
when I went to college at CU Boulder, I went there with a pre-journalism major, and I think I just wanted to be a weather person on TV or something. But I had always had a love for radio. I was a very, very, very heavy radio listener growing up. I remember, and my parents remember me like interviewing the family with a cassette recorder and a microphone, like I was like,
Barbara Walters.
and I had my dual cassette player, and I would overlap the songs like they did on the radio because I loved the way it sounded. And like when Hall & Oates released Out of Touch, like when that first got played on the radio, I was jumping up and down the bed. Like, radio is a big deal to me. So When I was on campus my first year at CU and I saw a flyer for the college radio station, which I didn't know existed, I'm like, oh, that'd be a fun thing to do in my spare time. And I got so into it that I failed out of CU. And then I took night classes at CU to justify staying there. And I failed out of the night classes. And eventually they had to tell me, you can't be here anymore if you're not a student.
Oh.
But I had a lot of time there. I was the morning show there. That was my first morning show. I became music director. I went to New York on a conference to the CMJ music conference. I got my first relationships with record labels.
Wow.
I learned how to program music for a radio station. So that was definitely a beginning. And then I spent several years out of radio because I couldn't be there anymore. So I was just doing, I was a bank teller, I was a temp and all that. And at one point, after I finally moved out east, my sister said, that was the only thing you were into and good at. What are you doing?
Your voice of reason, the sister.
I went halvesies with my parents on broadcasting school, not because I didn't know what they were teaching, but just to get the internship. So I breezed through that and somehow lucked out in being able to get a internship with one of the most influential and one of my favorite radio stations in the country, 99.1 WHFS in Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow.
That was essentially the East Coast version of K-Rock Los Angeles.
Okay.
And they had a big, giant stadium show every summer of their very own where everybody they played this. It was a sold-out NFL stadium, so it was 60,000, 80,000, 90,000 people. And the headliners were bands like Rage Against the Machine or
my goodness.
Eminem or Green Day or it was an amazing radio station. And I was there for many years. And then eventually one day they were flipped to Spanish because the company decided it needed a Spanish station and it wanted to beat the other company at putting one in DC. So the station got...
That's tragic.
It eventually got reborn in Baltimore, and I got to be the program director of the final incarnation of that station, and that was my first time running a radio station. And I was able to bring back the influence and the sound and everything, and it was really wonderful. And then they gave up on that again.
Man.
But by that point, this was my career. So I helped out my friend at 98 Rock for a while. Then I got a call to go be the music director in afternoons in Miami at a brand new alternative station. It was the first time Miami had an alternative rock station in 11 years.
Oh, man.
So it was kind of a big deal at the time. So, and then after spending a year there, I spent a year in Fort Myers doing my first professional morning show at a station called 93X. And then after that, I came back to Baltimore, did classic rock for a bit with my friend from one of the previous rock stations. We were total indie rock guys doing classic rock. We would complain off the air about if we had to hear "The Boys Are Back in Town" by Thin Lizzy one more time, we were going to bash our heads in the wall. That is the song that is on every soundtrack for Bad Buddy movies, right? Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
They're rounding the corner
You're not
there's a chase scene where they're rounding the corner and "The Boys Are Back in Town" is playing. It's Thin Lizzy has so many great songs.
But that one keeps getting played.
Then at one point in August of 2021, I walked away from radio to come out as a trans woman because I had kind of suddenly realized I needed to do it. It was time. I'd been holding this back for too long, and there were things that just pushed me over the edge, including Laura Jane Grace's autobiography. And I looked as hard as I could for other trans women in radio in America, and there were almost none. I found a couple in very, very, very small situations, very remote places, and that was it. So I said, okay, I guess even the most progressive radio companies aren't ready for the controversy of having somebody on the air who half their listeners think is a dude in a dress trying to get into bathrooms. So I'm that's the reality. So I need to make a choice. I'm going to walk away from radio. And I walked away from radio. I worked for my friend's hair salon for 3 months. And as much as we loved much as we loved each other, she was impossible to work with. For me, she's one of those people. I don't want to be bashing her, but like she's one of those people. Either you can work with her or you can't. She's like a very specific kind of strict boss, and
I'm sure we've had some of those.
And I decided I don't want to. This is. I'd rather keep the relationship and a job is a job. So I walked away from that. I did some delivery stuff for a while that wasn't sustaining me, and I was about to be at the very end of my rope when I got a call from the program director at Indy 102.3 in Denver. He'd been seeing me visit Denver, or Boulder specifically, because my parents still lived in the same house, and my father was in his final year of life, and I was visiting, and he wondered why, and my future boss wondered why I was coming here, and realized, he realized I'm from here, and I have roots here, and that would be. And he knew my work from the past, so he asked me to join. And at first I got mad because I thought he wanted old me because he had started asking to meet up with me before I came out, and he said no. I'm like, do you realize I'm like this is all real. I was I'm pointing at my chest and everything. He's like Colorado Public Radio is way beyond that kind of stuff. You are a walking and talking embodiment of the diversity they support. So once they finally posted the position, I took it, and it's been the greatest part of my career. I've been at bigger stations in bigger markets, but this is a special kind of station. We're building community. We're doing really meaningful radio. I'm making connections with listeners. We're independent. We're not owned by a corporation. We're not programming to please advertisers and not scare them away. We're literally there to serve you. Radio stations serve whoever the money's coming from, and for us, it is from our listeners. So we can get as wild and wonderful as our listeners love.
I love that, and
I love doing meaningful radio. I love doing what I know matters and building real community and making it a two-way relationship where I'm not just talking at them. It's a conversation. It's a relationship. They keep me afloat, just as I keep them afloat. It's a real relationship with all the people who listen.
That's incredible, and I just want to say I want to give you a shout out and a round of applause for coming out as trans and for nailing this job at 102.3, because you're an amazing person after Brooke and I have gotten to know you, and I'm lucky to call you a friend, and I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you. I literally, again, you don't know what's coming in life. I thought I'd never come out because I grew up in the 80s, and there the terminology wasn't even there, much less the examples. And then with the examples, most of the big examples tended to be either really sensationalist, tragic stories in the news, or Cher's kid comes out as trans, and you're like, well, celebrities can do anything about it. There's no way. And then I got into radio, and I'm like, I will absolutely demolish my radio career and lose everything I have if I ever do this. There's no way I'll ever do this. And I didn't want to lose everything because plus, it just wasn't safe. I know a lot of people will ask me at times, if you could go back and talk to 13-year-old you, what would you say? And I would say, I won't. I would refuse to talk to 13-year-old me, because if 13-year-old me saw that this transition was possible and they did it that early, that this is going to be dark. But chances are, that they would have gone into sex work and died of AIDS. That's most of the queer community and the trans community don't have a lot of history, because a lot of the people who would have been able to tell that history didn't make it through the AIDS crisis, didn't make it through the years when we weren't accepted.
Yeah,
so
no support.
Yeah, so I'm really I often joke that the best thing that ever happened for trans visibility was when North Carolina tried to pass bathroom laws in 2015, which went awful. But at least from that point on, I think everybody understood what trans people were, and that we were not a costume or a philosophy or a statement, that we were actually people that had a certain difference about who we needed to be. So,
Yes.
um,
So it kind of shed some light on some things.
yeah. And I don't make a big deal out of being trans on the air. It's no bigger of a deal than the fact that I have brown eyes. If it comes up, I will talk about it. I will talk about it on Trans Day of Visibility or Trans Day of Remembrance. Or if there's just some other reason to bring it up. But otherwise, I don't center that about myself. I knew when I came out that I just wanted to show the world that a trans person is just like anybody else.
Yes.
Is not a walking statement. I'm not fitting any template or any expectation, and that and I'm still doing that. So I am who I am, and if I'm a weirdo, it's not because I'm trans.
Amen.
If
love
I'm a
that.
weirdo. I see that as if that's theoretical.
That's great. When Brooke and I first saw you, it was at the Fox Theater, and the AAA radio station was having their convention. And we had been invited to go check out some of the shows. And so we went, and there was an intermission, and we went outside, and we saw you. And I just thought, I want to get to know that person. I want to know them. Your smile, your presence, you were wearing this beautiful red dress. You were just glowing. And Brooke and I were like, target locked in. Like, we have got to get a conversation with that person. And I was so nervous. I couldn't do it.
There were so many people.
I asked Brooke,
So
I'm
like-
like, can you please?
What?
So talk to
Were you nervous?
Yes. I have never told you this story.
And then minutes later, we're eating dry taquitos from 7-Eleven, and you still wanted to be my friend after that?
yes. We were
Because
so
I'd never had
nervous.
taquitos before.
was-
From a 7-Eleven.
Listen, it's not that they're world-shattering, but that was not the best introduction.
No, it really wasn't.
Yeah, I had never eaten taquitos before, and you guys opened my world. We went to 7-Eleven. There were taquitos spinning on this thing, and I tried my first taquito.
Some not spinning.
I'm trying to imagine a
spinning.
camera zooming in on dried-up taquitos with a whole new
get a
world
video of
playing in
this.
the background. This is the worst cinematography I've ever imagined.
Let's get that edited.
Man, I can
Now I'm
say,
imagining you guys on stage covering a whole new world with me rolling on the stage like as a dry taquito.
Eating taquitos.
Yes. How do we get this going?
It's a good
I'm
idea.
here for
I
it.
like where this is going. Let's workshop this later.
Yes. Let's meet up. We need to practice. We need
Anyways,
to get our
there are definitely
costumes.
better taquitos out there, I'll just say.
Yeah.
I don't think Jen was a fan.
Go earlier in the day. They don't put new ones out after a while.
All that to say, that's how we met. Yes.
Yeah, needless to say, nothing against 7-Eleven, but I just couldn't swallow that thing.
No, but I was excited to meet you guys too. I didn't even know your music yet. I just had met you guys as people, and then I saw you guys as a band, and you're fantastic.
Thank you.
You, Jen, are an amazing front woman. Like you are definitely leading the show, and you're exuding confidence and everything. And both of you are just have a really badass presence.
I'm exuding confidence, except for that night when we met you.
It's so true, though, Jen. You are an amazing front woman. We shout out to everyone except for Jen so far. Shout out to Jen for just being a powerhouse. Like I don't know.
Thanks,
You have
ladies.
such a powerful energy on stage, and I just love playing with you.
Well,
So,
you're not so bad at bass yourself.
I'm all right.
Yeah, you're not
But
so
right
bad
now,
either, sister.
Seriously, it's both of you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for saying that. And I'm just excited that all of us have met somehow, some way in this world. And here we are right now today.
This is why I'm such a believer in going out and doing things, because the more you're out in the world and the more you're trying out things and the more you're I'm just going to go do something random. The more you put yourself out there, the more that you increase the odds that you're going to meet somebody who you'll form a relationship with or experience a band or a situation or something that changes you or or it makes an impact on you, even if it's something negative, maybe you see something bad happen, but it opens your eyes to something about the world. As much as everyone needs, me time, alone time, recharging time, even I, as the extrovert that I am, need my recharging time, but like, experience as much of the world as you can. We only have a certain amount of time. Make the most of it. Nobody ever said on their deathbed, I did too much. I experienced too much. I learned too much. If anything, they'll say the opposite. So
Agreed.
just don't idle if you don't have a need to. Go out and put yourself out there and experience something you've never experienced before, or experience something again and see if it's the same as it was before.
I love that. And I like to think of it as count your days and make your days count. I heard that recently.
I don't know. I feel that is really inspiring, especially right now. With me, I feel like I've become a little bit of a hermit lately, and but I see you like getting out there and doing things and meeting people all the time. And I don't know. I find it really inspiring. It makes me want to do it more, especially the few times we have like gone and done things together. I don't know. It's always been a blast, and just meeting really awesome people.
And listen, if you need an example of how much fun can come from making things count, look at the Count on Sesame Street and how much fun he's always having. No one is having more fun than him.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. He's laughing about the most mundane thing. And might be on drugs.
He might be very well. I was thinking about, we went to a show and we saw the beaches together, and you're a celebrity in Colorado and people recognize you. So give me something that you like about being recognized, and give me something that you're not so excited about being recognized.
It has nothing to do with popularity. I'm not trying to be famous. I don't care about that. But I do like meeting the people on the other end of what I do. I like being able to put some humanity on it. It reminds me that I'm not just sitting there alone in a studio talking to myself half awake at 6:30 in the morning. And I love hearing how and why I've made a difference in their days. Because the whole reason I'm in radio is because I want to make people's days better. I want to make a difference in people's lives.
Yes.
It's not, if it's just about playing cool songs, I could do that at home with my phone. If it's about, and being popular is, a shallow thing to go for. I want to make a difference in people's lives. I want to do meaningful radio. I want people to feel like they're a part of something bigger. I want people to feel like they're experiencing something that they would have been jealous to hear about and not be a part of. I want people to, I want to turn people's days around or set people's days going in the most positive way possible, because we need as much joy and positivity in this world as we can get, especially right now. And the more of it I can put out there, and I have so much joy and so much optimism, I want to give it all away, because I'm not going to run out, and I want as much. I want all the people who need it to have it.
I see. So it's not just about being a DJ. It's more about setting the tone and connecting with people.
Yeah, and music is very powerful in doing that. Music, I just saw a clip of David Lynch talking about how music is as powerful and important as air, water, food, that it brings emotions, it changes things, it changes the world around you, it changes your day. Music is really powerful. Art is really powerful.
Yes.
And I think trying to meaningfully bring joy to people's lives with music as a tool for that is a really powerful thing to be able to do. So that's what I'm trying to do.
True that.
What kind of feedback have you got from people that you've met, different listeners? I guess you said you meet them out and they kind of tell you about how you've impacted their life. What are some things they say?
I mean, they'll tell me, there's something I say on the air almost every hour at this point. It's kind of become a thing. I'll tell people, I'm proud of you for how far you've come, and I promise we will all be okay. And I've had people tell me, you said that right when I needed to hear it. I broke out crying in the car on the way to work. I am the mother of a trans child, and for my child to be able to see you living with so much strength and joy means the world to my child and to me. I've had people say they came out, they had the strength to come out from listening to me on the air and hearing my messages. I love hearing about how I changed people's days, how I inspired them to do more or be stronger or face what they didn't want to face. I just love hearing the impact of what I do.
Nice.
It's just flattering to know that I bring something positive to people's lives. It's more about them than me when people come up to me and meet me. It's all about them. It's flattering. Everybody loves to be loved, but it's the why that matters to me. It's why they decided they wanted to meet me and why I made a difference. That's what's important to me.
I love that. If you were not a DJ, what do you think you would have become? What line of work would you have chosen?
I cannot imagine being anything else but in radio. I cannot imagine. The only other things I've done for a living are fast food and bank teller.
Teller.
I was a bank teller at the Bank of Boulder for a few years.
I could see you being a great bank teller.
I worked at McDonald's for years and Wendy's for a few years as well. And yes, I will still eat that food even though I know everything about it.
Yeah. But you were born to be a DJ, and I feel that. I feel you.
I actually, at first, for the longest time, I had no desire to be on the air. My first job at WHFS was as the production director for many years, which meant that I made the stuff between the songs. I made all the station IDs and the station promos and a lot of the commercials and everything. And I loved the creativity of that. There's a certain amount of art to that, even though you're doing it for commercial purposes. But and I was kind of forced to be on the air more than I intended. And I eventually and by the time I got to Miami, I was really enjoying it. And I was really enjoying how powerful it could be and how meaningful it could be to people. So recently at our radio station, the program director position opened up and people were asking me if I was going to go for it since I had experience at that. And I said, no, I have no aspirations of moving up in my company ever again. Like I am doing exactly what I want to be doing, and I hope to be doing the same thing 40 years from now at the same radio station.
Yeah.
I do not.
Let's give it up for that.
Yay for no desire for career advancement.
Yeah.
I will lift up every other woman who wants to be who wants to go higher, but I am exactly where I want to be.
No, I
Yeah.
mean sometimes
you don't want to take on that extra
responsibilities.
workload or- yeah.
And I'm just doing what I
Those are
want to be
different
doing.
types of work. Yeah.
I'm doing what I want to be doing, and there's nowhere this is the top for me.
Yeah.
This
I
is
love that.
this
The
is
peak.
this is the end, or not the end, but
Ominous.
the end of the climb. This is the top of the mountain. This is where I wanted to be. This is
Cool.
what I want to be doing, and I'm not going to get tired of it ever.
Well, so it sounds like when you first were going, you were pushed to do more, and now you're flying. And you found what you like, you found what you love, and you're really excelling at it at 102.3, Indy 102.3.
I have a question. Did you ever feel nervous when you were first starting out, like knowing that there were going to be a lot of people that I guess you didn't know hearing your voice?
Not really. I mean, I started at CU, and the radio station at the time didn't have the AM signal that it has now. It was just a carrier current signal on campus. What that means is it's using the wiring of the dorm building as an antenna.
Oh, wow.
So we were in the
localized.
yeah. So the radio station at the time was called KUCB, and I wasn't, I kind of knew I was broadcasting to a certain amount of people, to a limited amount of people, and I just didn't really. I've never really thought about who's out there. Even right now, when I'm on the air, I don't think about. I know there are people out there, but I'm essentially just talking to myself. I'm essentially just. It's kind of like I'm making a goofy tape for my friend. I often describe myself as a girl who's sitting in a studio alone, half awake in the morning, talking to herself, spewing all the optimism and joy she can. So I don't really think about who's out there. And I mean, at this point, I'm just used to it anyway. And I know that there's no backlash to it. It's not like I open the mic and say like, that was Lola Young. And everybody's like, boo, why did you do that? You're awful. Go away. Burn yourself. So, I've been doing it this long and it's gone and nothing bad has happened. So it must be okay.
Nice. To change gears a little bit, I was wondering, just in general, how would you like to be remembered?
I don't know. In fact, I was just listening to a podcast yesterday where Oprah Winfrey was being interviewed by an NPR host.
Okay.
And she was asked what would, well, I know she was talking about legacy.
Yeah, legacy.
And she said and Oprah was talking one day to Maya Angelou, and she had just opened her school in Africa where children are learning, and she said, I want this to be, and it was going really well, and a lot of children were being brought through the school, and Oprah thought, I hope this is my legacy, or I want this to be my legacy,
Yes.
or I think this is going to be my legacy. And Maya Angelou said to her something like, "It will not be that will not be your legacy. Your legacy is not your name on a building.
Yeah.
Your legacy is the people whose lives you affected."
Yes.
Who
you've impacted.
So that really spoke to me, and I don't really worry about what people. I don't really worry about or think about or care about what people will think of me one day down the line. I don't care if they remember me. I just hope that I have played a part in making the world a better place. I hope that the handful of people who I have affected go on to affect more people who go on to affect more people. I believe in little things being able to snowball, and I hope that I'm contributing to a better and brighter future in some way, in some small way.
I'd say you have and continue to do that.
You don't know that.
And will for the next 40 years.
You don't know that. I can do something that completely tanks everything I've done.
I don't know. You've already talked about, people have already
like
told you how much you've impacted them. And I don't know. You do like exude positivity and optimism. I will say, I feel it like sitting next to you, and I feel like you were about to ask something, but I was going to steal.
I said Brooke has a crystal ball, and she knows very well that 40 years from now that you're going to be impacting people.
Yeah.
or I'll be in a box in the ground.
I have a Labradorite necklace, and when I look into it,
I'm just joking,
40 years
obviously.
from now. But yeah, no, I was just wondering, what are things that keep you and that like keep up that optimism and that positivity that I feel like it's just in you. I'm not sure.
I've always had it, and that's probably a big reason why I was able to go so many decades as somebody who I wasn't, cosplaying as somebody who I truly didn't feel comfortable as. I just always had this thought of, if I give up, what if I miss what's coming? You don't know what's coming, and what if I miss what I've been wanting my whole life? And so that kept me going. And also just finding something you're passionate about can distract you from things that worry you. Like last year, I actually met the program director and the general manager for my first radio station in Washington, D.C., WHFS. And they each had I had the same conversation with each of them separately. They said, back then, like in the late 90s, did you know this about yourself? Did you know that you were trans? And I said, yes. But there was no way I was, at that point, I didn't know that I would ever be able to come out. And I said, the fact that you hired me might have saved my life. The radio has been enough of a distraction and something I could so drown myself in a positive way that it would at least hold at bay a little bit what was gnawing at me. And so I told them, if had you not given me this radio career, I might not be here. And so really all I'm saying is have some passions, have things you love, whether it's an art, whether it's a pet, whether it's people, whether it's something you do, something you experience regularly, if going to shows does it, if volunteering does it, do something that keeps you going, that gives you a little bit more space to hold on to the things that you haven't fulfilled or accomplished, or that haven't been resolved, or that you are still struggling with. I don't even know what the question was anymore. I'm not.
Positivity.
Yeah. I guess the positivity is just I don't know why I've always been an optimistic person, and I guess it's just always been, you don't know what's coming. Like the best. I have a former coworker whose mantra is, "What's the best that could happen?" instead of "What's the worst that could happen."
I love that.
And so
That is great.
And so it's easy to worry about a worst case scenario. But what about a best case scenario? In reality, everything that happens is somewhere in between. The worst case scenario that you're imagining is not going to happen.
Yes.
The best case scenario is not going to happen, but it's going to be somewhere in between. And you don't know where in between it's going to be. And you have a little bit of power to influence where it is. If you live your life as the best person you can be, and you do the best you can, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be a perfect person. You don't have to be perfect at everything you do. But if you're the best, I've always believed and experienced that if you just do the best you can, and you are the best person you can be, things will eventually work out. Not when they should, necessarily, but if you persist, then eventually things, and this goes back to being proud of how far you've come and believing that we will all be okay one day.
Yes. And also, according to kind of tie into what you were saying, according to cognitive neuroscientist Caroline Leaf, 90-some% of the things that we spend thinking that are going to go wrong never even happen. So let's just stop thinking about all the things we think are going to go wrong and do what Dana said.
I had a great example
can
of that
go
last
right?
night.
Tell us.
I was in the parking lot of Taco Bell at 5225 East Colfax last night eating a cheesy double beef burrito, and I was so positive that no matter how well I rewrapped it after I squeezed the sauce in there, that some of the cheese would come squirting out the bottom and ruin my dress, and it never happened.
There we go.
That's a perfect example.
It did not happen. It was in our minds, and that's where it stays. So just let it go.
Yeah. Bring in the good.
I wasted my time and my energy worrying that would happen.
did.
I could have been thinking. I could have thought of the cure for cancer.
Exactly.
In that time that I was worrying about the cheese squirting out the bottom of the tortilla.
All that brain power went to waste.
Stop worrying about the cheese squirting out on your
See,
dress.
I'm still learning. I'm still learning.
Well, I don't mean to bring this up, and I just want to take a moment of silence. I know that your kitty just passed, and we shall refer to her now as Saint Roxy. So, Saint Roxy, we're thinking of you right now, and we're just hoping that you just continue to watch over Dana. And rest in peace, Saint Roxy.
She was my best friend. She was my life partner. She was my guardian angel. I felt like I might never need to get married or have another relationship because this was my life partner. Mm-hmm. I've had other cats their entire lives like I did with her, but this was a special bond. She got me through a lot of things. She was there through most of my relationships, a lot of my career. She got me through my transition. She made so many cross-country moves and drives with me and didn't even need to be in a carrier. She could just ride in the seat. And she was nothing would faze her. She trusted and loved everyone. I would bring to the house or whatever. She loved all people. She wanted all other cats in the world exterminated. So I think she essentially thought, like, am I not enough?
Yeah.
I'm all the cat you need. She didn't give a shit about dogs. Dogs could live or die. She ignored them. But and I was describing her to a friend of mine after she passed, and that friend stopped me at one point and said, "Dana, you're describing yourself." And I realized that, when I transitioned and rebuilt myself, and she kind of served as a template. Like, I got a lot of my best and strongest qualities from her. So yeah, I did turn into her in a way to an extent. And I'm proud that I did. And so I guess in that respect that she will live on through me.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
Yes, honor St. Roxy. That's beautiful.
St. Roxy.
And she too would have succeeded in not getting any cheese on her outfit
Yes.
at Taco Bell.
She was looking out for you. She's like, girl, we're not getting any
And she
cheese
wouldn't
on
have
this
worried about
dress.
it.
Well, in every segment, we like to know who our guest wants to donate to. And you mentioned you want to donate to Indie 102.3.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question. When we go to donate, because some of us have donated there online, when we go to CPR, is that still going to Indie 102.3, or do we need to click on a specific space for
You
that?
can make some choices. You can choose whether most of our donations go towards what's called the general fund. So it funds Colorado Public Radio, CPR News, CPR Classical, Indie 102.3, Denverite, KRCC in Colorado Springs. But you can also choose to support a single platform if that's where you really want all of your support to go to.
Okay.
I mean, we're all one family, so if you support everything, then you're supporting Indie as well. But and we have a brand new program that we started a few months ago called Indie Insiders, where it's a higher level of support at $30 a month, but you get a lot of extra perks. You get a direct connection with the staff. You're automatically entered in giveaways. We're going to be doing some artist experiences. We have swag that goes out just for those. They have
swag.
An amazing T-shirt and hat went out last year, and every year there's going to be another limited edition. So you're going to collect every year, and that supports us at an even higher level. And those are the people who just really, really feel that we're something they want to keep going. And it's been really wonderful that, with federal funding being taken away from public media last year, so
Yes.
NPR, PBS, and all public TV and radio lost federal funding, which is very, very painful to the smaller stations.
It's
A lot of smaller stations won't survive, but listeners did step up a lot. I mean, and kept stepping up. And I love being able to say now on the air that we are a 100% community radio station.
Wonderful.
That all of our funding and all of our support is local and is from our listeners, and we love it that way. We love not having to serve anyone, not having to please anyone, not having to answer to anyone but the people we are doing what we do for.
Well, you heard it right here. So at Indie 102.3, they get funding from us, from the community. So please go out and donate to that organization and fund public radio. So thank you so much for being on the show today. This has been so much fun. Dana Meyers here. I'm Jen Tatro. This is Brooke Holman, your host of Hot Pot Potty Podcast. We're out.
Bye.
Bye. I'm gonna